Call the Metropolis City Council to order, please. Monday, August the 12th, 2013. Call the roll.
Barfield.
Here.
Brown. Here. Carroll.
Here.
Corzine.
Present.
McManus.
Here.
Midnight.
Here.
Mizell.
Here.
Please stand. For the pledge of allegiance. Will you please standing for prayer? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come tonight thanking you for all the many blessings that you have given each and every one of us. Be with our community, dear Heavenly Father, for the ones that have sick, dear Heavenly Father, for the ones that have lost loved ones. Be this council, dear Heavenly Father, that each and every decision that we make here tonight will be for the betterment of the community. Be with our armed service personnel, dear Heavenly Father, not only on foreign ground, but here in the United States. Guide and direct their lives and bring them safely home to their families. We ask in thy precious name. Amen. Need a motion to approve the minutes of the last regular council meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Corzine, second by Mr. McManus. Call a roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown. Yes. Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. Akron was on the agenda. He is not here. So we'll move on. Julian?
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. This may seem familiar for most of you because we've done it twice already. What's the best way to do this? I might just set it up in the middle if that's all right. So what we are doing today is a re-presentation of the Interstate North Tiffin Business District eligibility studies. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Julian Jackman with Economic Development Resources. We have been asked by the city to examine an area of the city for eligibility as a TIF and business district. We have examined the area twice now. We did it starting about a year ago. The area is outlined on the map in front of you in red. It's also contained in both of the studies that you have in front of you. It's the same area for both. The area is 22 total parcels, including 180 acres of property. It's bound on the south side by the south property line of the properties immediately abutting Highway 45, including the Motel 6 and the State Bank, as well as the vacant. Actually, the vacant parcel is not included right next to it. On the north end, it's bound by the north property line of the property with the Fabic Cat construction on it. On the east end, it's bound by Highway 24, and on the west, it's bound by farmland. So, like I said, we were asked by the city to examine the area for eligibility as a TIF and a business district. We began that process just over a year ago. Originally, we found that it was eligible, and the city wanted to move forward to create the area as both a TIF and a business district. Through discussions with the city decided to remove a few properties from the proposed TIF and business district and expand the boundary further south across Highway 45. Originally, the area was just the property north of 45. Through discussions with the city and property owners, we decided to amend the boundary and remove some of the property on the north side of 45 and add property on the south side. We last presented the eligibility studies in November of 2012 with the area as it's shown today. We found that both the areas, the same area, but both of them were eligible for TIF and business district financing by meeting the eligibility requirement as a blighted area. That finding was made in November. Since that time, we've been working with the city to put together a list of projects and a budget that can assist the city in determining what the city would like to do within the area, what projects the city wants to accomplish, public and private, public infrastructure improvements, private redevelopment projects, that sort of thing. Along with establishing a list of projects, the city also has to put together a budget that outlines exactly how much money the city's looking to raise with each project. Just so we know, we've covered it before, but TIF is, it shouldn't be a new tool for anybody. It's a tool made off of property tax increment. The TIF, when you put it in place, it freezes property values at a certain amount. The taxes paid on that value keep going to the taxing districts as they always have. As development comes in and property values go up, the taxes paid on the new property values are redirected towards a fund that the city maintains to put back into the district. Business district can be used for the same stuff, it's just a different tool. It's a sales tax driven tool instead of a property tax driven tool. The city determined that for this area, both tools were a good use of the program because there's money to be made both on property tax and sales tax out there. There's thriving businesses currently, but there's a lot of developable land that can be benefited by the use of these programs, both to make improvements at the public level and the private level. Purpose of today is because we've been meeting with the city over the past few months to put together a budget, to put together a list of projects, because the next step after finding that the area is eligible is to put together a plan. That plan contains the list of projects, it contains a budget. And when I say budget means a list of eligible business district and TIF project costs, which based on state statute identifies exactly how much money the city is looking to spend within each category. Categories include within both program soft costs like administration and consulting and planning costs, site preparation and property assemblies. We can assist property owners in acquiring land and prepping land for development. Also improving, installing, reconstructing, rehabbing public infrastructure. So if we want to make improvements to streets, utilities, including sewers, that sort of thing. Also in private side, we can help private property owners with both rehabbing their existing buildings and properties, as well as in using business district revenues towards building new buildings. So that the costs are really robust. There's a lot of categories, a lot of monies that you can spend on different things. So the plan, both for the TIF and the business district, is a document that contains, one, the eligibility that the area is eligible for use as the use of the program, but also it's a document that contains the list of projects the city's identified as well as a budget for each program. We've been working with the city to identify those projects in that budget because the last time we did that was in November and now it's August. We wanted an opportunity to make on the record that we are representing the findings, that it is eligible, because we would like to move forward again. We've been working with the city to put together a budget and a list of projects for each, but we want to be able to have the revised eligibility study on file so that we can do that and have an up-to-date eligibility study for each program. Since the last time we presented them in November, there really haven't been any changes. We visited the site, I believe, a week or two ago to make sure that all the stuff that was there in November is still there, which it is. With the TIF district, actually with both, there's a finding in the TIF study that's based off of equalized assessed value. Because the last time we did the study was in November, since then the 2012 values have come out and tax bills have gone out, so we wanted to be sure to have the most up-to-date values in the study. So we revised the study to include the 2012 values and make any changes to any calculations using those values. Same thing within the business district. There's no factor for value, but based on what the statute says you need to make for findings, we included a finding using equalized assessed values. We wanted to make sure that that reflected the current values as well within the business district. As far as process today, like I said, the reason we're representing is just so that we can have the most up-to-date eligibility study on file, so that we can move forward with an up-to-date study, and that we can work with the city to put together a list of projects and a budget for each program, so that we can create a redevelopment plan for each of the programs. Once we have established a plan for each, we'll come back down to present the plan. That will be probably sometime in the next month while we work out the final details of the projects and the budget with the city. Once we've done that, we'll come back down and present the plan for each program. At that time, we'll call for a public hearing on each of them. The TIF will require a meeting of the taxing districts since it affects taxing dollars. We'll have to convene a meeting of the taxing districts. Following public hearings, we'll have an opportunity for the council to review and adopt ordinances establishing each district. Give or take, from today's date until adoption, probably within the next 3 or 4 months. That gives us enough time to meet with the city to finish any list of projects or budgets for each program and hold the necessary hearings and pass the necessary ordinances. But today, we want to be able to present the revised eligibility studies. We would like the city to accept the studies, place them on file, and make them available for public inspection, and also authorize us as EDR to move forward with the completion of each plan, the TIF redevelopment plan and the business district plan. Once that's done, we can work with the city to complete the plans and move forward with each project. But if anybody has any questions, that's what I'm here for, so fire away.
You said there were some properties on the south side that were taken out, or?
There were some properties on the north side that were taken out. Some of the vacant lots that were originally in west of Devers were included in the original boundary, but when they started farming the property, it made them not eligible to be in the area anymore. So we
So
took,
the area right behind City National Bank is not?
those are in. Those are in. The ones that aren't in are right behind Pizza Hut and Super 8. They were originally in, but we took them out. We added the properties across the south side of 45.
Mike Saylor's property back there is Bean Farms also.
We had also on the north side, and you can't see it necessarily on the map, but there at Fawn Lane and the intersection of 45 and Fawn Lane, we looked at some properties going back towards town's conclusion, but they're not in the city limits, and they didn't want to annex when we approached them, and you gotta have them in, so that was the other reason they
The
came.
Stoner building is out, can that be added back in? The Stoners decide to do something with it?
I don't know if it's in the city limits or not. See, you get everything that we put in what people had annexed at different times. Horntrop had annexed his properties. All that other stuff along the frontage is either right of way or it's stuff that's been annexed. If he's not annexed, we can't put him in.
Then how can we
Stoner,
pass an
no,
ordinance?
the Stoner property's in the city.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's the
Oh, we
pony.
passed an ordinance.
Okay, all right, well, it would be then, okay.
No, it's in the city. It's
Could
been
we
in the
add
city
that?
all along. It's in this map.
Yeah,
It's outlined
Which
around,
property is that?
the one right there, it's outlined around?
This one?
Yep.
Yeah, that was across the bottom too. Yeah,
No, it's out.
that's in.
no, it's
Oh,
out.
it's out,
It's
it
out.
is out. I thought that line went all the way across.
We may be crippling the
Well, I
local
sus-
businessman.
Yeah, but I
you know.
suspect that building would create a bit of fire, but it's not blighted at this point. I mean, that was a functioning business at one time.
You're talking about this one right here?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would definitely make a difference.
Yeah, it's a vacant building right now. It would definitely meet the qualifying factors.
It would now, yes.
I think when we drew the initial boundary, it was just decided that we would not include it, but of course, that's up to you guys if you want to include it and revise the studies.
Well, I mean, we got a local businessman that owns it, and I'd hate to cripple him if he should decide to do something different with it. I mean, I think pretty much the old is out, and I mean, Stoner, I think, still owns the building.
He's still leasing it.
Is he?
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm not too sure that would necessarily qualify.
Okay.
Well, we can
Just-
certainly.
I was
look
just
at
It's
it.
up to you guys.
I mean, we can always add it later if we have to.
It would be, actually, it would be a minor addition. I mean, there's process for, what they call, material and non-material, I think it is. I can't
Minor and
remember.
major.
Minor and major, call it, think of it that, minor and major additions or minor and major deletions. There's process that are, the minor additions and minor deletions don't require public hearings and they're fairly simple. And as long as they involve less than a, well, I don't even know if there's an exact, specific amount, but it'd be such a small percentage of the total area that's in the TIF, it would likely be considered a minor addition if we wanted to add it. It's
So it's a
a
possibility
simple,
we could add it back in.
it is, and it's a fairly simple process.
I just don't wanna cripple
Now, we
Indiana.
used that, I'm trying to think of where, I think on one of the first TIFs, we
Yeah.
looked at doing that, it was not gonna be a difficult process. And so, if they would think they might have something coming that, or
Oh, I haven't
possible,
talked to Johnny in a while, but.
or if he wanted to go out there, and, I mean, they don't have to get somebody else, if they wanted to do something, potentially material to that building that would improve that building or improve that thing, yeah, we could look at bumping them in there with a
just wanna make sure we don't.
And then that would potentially create some funds that could be used to assist them, but yes.
Well, that might be something that you might wanna look at.
Sure, sure.
Is evaluate, cause I mean, it is being rented, I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is being used right now.
And we've done a lot of field work in the properties around it, so we've seen it a bunch.
Yeah.
It could easily qualify if we wanted to add it today, or if we wanna add it down the line. It's whatever you wanna do.
Well, and I think all the way up until the last. I'm trying to think, I'll have to go back and look. I used to think all the way up until the last ordinances are adopted, we can amend the thing.
We can,
It's better, but we need to give notice that we, if,
with the business district, they just have a hearing, with the TIF, because it affects taxing districts, you have to have a joint reboard meeting, if you're amending.
yeah,
If we were going to change the boundary and add or remove any properties,
probably simpler now.
yeah, it'd be simpler now. We'd make the change, we include the boundary, we revise the calculations, represent a new revised study, and move forward with that one instead.
I mean, I think it's a good idea if we include it, if we don't think it'll mess up the blightedness of it.
It won't change the blight factors.
And if I remember right, we just made a note, I don't know that he even had to come back when we did it in the first one. I think he just reported that it was there. When we did the minor adjustment.
Oh, before, I think we had to have a joint review board meeting, now, we had to do a joint review board meeting, and, it seemed like there was one notice, but that was it, it's not overly complicated to add.
If you're adding
We haven't
property,
gotten to that stage yet, okay, that's where we're headed after tonight.
Well, if that's the case, we'll go ahead and just add it in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
I mean, at the same time.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
In fact, my hunch is we probably have the parcel ID number somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
Probably
yeah,
have
that's
the
all ready to
description,
go.
too.
So we wanna move forward with adding it in?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's fine, man.
Sure.
You guys.
We'll take the studies, we'll add that parcel in. It may require just going back out and taking some pictures of it and doing some work at the county, but we'll revise the studies to include that building and, re-provide the studies, the revised studies, and move forward once we've, presented the new ones.
That's why we didn't include it. We didn't want them doing studies on that particular, them having to go undercover and do a study.
and then we get Julie.
Yeah, we would get Valley.
Yeah, Rick wanted to help you, didn't he?
You don't have to terminate Julie, I'm sorry.
Any other questions for Julian for you? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. We'll move on. First report, mayor's report. Motion to suspend the rules and place an ordinance authorizing sale of municipal-owned real estate, 1507 Butler Street, upon its passage.
Do we have a
Well,
bid?
that's what you can open bid.
Yeah, we have those bids. Where they at? We've got them somewhere. Probably. You got open vault?
Do we
How
know?
long is that gonna take?
No, because we're gonna read them loud
Yeah.
tonight.
I know we got one, I'm not sure we got more than one. We still need to read it. Definitely, we don't need any more property.
You wouldn't stir anybody, would you?
Not unless he was alone or with somebody.
That's right.
Jen probably hid them down there where.
I'm gonna say, it might be an hour before she come back. Jan hit him. what I'm saying. If he's not coming, he's not coming. I don't have a quorum. There's no reason for us to have a meeting for me.
Was you first or second?
To be honest with you, I think I was first. I think it was 1 o'clock. Didn't we say?
1 o'clock industrial, 1:30
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
That's what I'm saying, the smart people were supposed to be here.
Just have to call and cancel it.
That's what I said, I mean, at this point, because I haven't heard from him, but Jerry always lets me
I
know.
talked to him today. I mean, just before I come to the meeting, he was just coming in. Yeah, been there now, and he might not be here.
Yeah.
We did a drum roll or anything?
Huh?
We did a drum roll?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You already have to stand up.
I do. I'm out of breath, now, right?
No better than not painted, man, it's my mouth.
Since he's got his friend.
Yeah. He makes sure everything's in there.
$505. 15.
Well,
I think it's 15.
it's 15:05, yeah.
The only bid we actually have is actually from Mr. Jesse Goins, Red Oak Road, Metropolis, Illinois, a bid of $1,505 on property at 1507 Butler Street. Is that what you say it is?
1,505.
That's what we perceive it to be. The only other thing it could be was 505, so. Well, he's got one decimal in there.
That's
He's got one decimal, I
$1,505.
think it's $1,505. That's 15. Okay,
I will make a motion then to suspend the rules and place ordinance authorizing sale of the owned real estate, 1507 Butler Street, on its sales.
so. I have a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance authorizing the sale of municipal owned real estate, 1507 Butler Street, for the bid of $1,505. Call the roll. Alright.
What's the ordinance number?
Still goes 13? Yes.
Dude, well,
Yeah.
I need, well, here,
That's what
no, I mean, if it's not 1,505,
What would you say it is?
I mean, when I first glanced at it, I see 1,505. I first, I looked at that and thought, is that a comma? But then, no, that wouldn't make any sense. That's the dollar sign there, 1505. Yeah. no, that's-
And this one here is kinda like that one.
Yeah, so.
Call the
Pretty sure-
chief of police up here and let him authorize it.
Sounds good to me.
But no, it wouldn't go through just 505.
If it don't, you'll just have to
We'd
bring
have
it
to bring
back.
it back to you, yeah. I mean, 'cause it's gotta be done by ordinance.
Yes.
Gotta have a 3/4 vote, and,
We'll
I mean, I
just-
can't
if
change
if it's
that.
not right, we'll just bring it back, and we'll explain it to him. So, we do have a motion, we do have a second. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes?
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Now we need
And
a
I
motion.
adopt the ordinance authorizing sale of owned real estate, 1507 Butler Street. Second.
Oh, I get to vote on that other one too.
Mayor.
Yeah, don't cheat me out of the vote.
Did you vote on?
I vote yes. I vote for this other one too. Yeah. I don't get to vote that often, so I don't.
know when you vote.
Okay, all right. Well, if I throw my hand up, you know I gotta vote. All right. We do have a motion by Mr. Mizell, we do have a second by Mr. McManus. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll. Corzine.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Terry, you done good.
I ain't gonna quit
You
looking.
done good. All right, next item. Motion to approve closing of Girard Street between 11th Street and the alley for the purpose of a block party for the First Church of God on September the 28th, 2013, from 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. And they'll actually, as many of you know, it's for the alley, and then
Right.
nobody can not get trapped in there, so you can turn down the alley.
I'll make that motion. That's an annual event.
Motion by Mr. Carroll. Second by,
Did you get a second?
yeah, Mr.
Dave
McDaniel.
actually gave it first, but he let Bill have it. That's fine.
All right, call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
I don't get to vote on that. I think that's all, for any of you that were uptown today and a couple of days, they are setting up the barricades and stuff on the old gas company building. I look for them to start one day this week on demolition of that. So that'll be a good thing. Next item, corporate council report, Mr. Abel.
Okay. First, Julian, he left, got away, but he brought us, I guess Gene gets all kinds of magazines in St. Louis. This is called Town and Style. And apparently there were two reporters, a photographer and a reporter, somebody headed, the article says 24 hours in Nashville, headed to Nashville, but they chose to get off when they saw the sign that said giant Superman statue. So they actually start off their article with pictures from Metropolis. I thought I'd pass that around, it's just kind of neat.
And we were in the Chicago Tribune this week too.
The mayor, there was a real good article they did on Ameren and this Dynegy and what may take place with some of the plants if the pollution control board does not extend that variance that they granted to Ameren last year. So Dynegy's had to go back and see the same variance. They wouldn't let it just transfer. So when it comes to the pollution control equipment, and it's not just Joppa that's affected, there were several plants that are affected by that. And really the whole future of Ameren plants and Dynegy is really kind of up in there.
Yeah, I think it's all east of Mississippi too.
It is. Yeah, they didn't do anything west of Mississippi.
Yeah.
I've got on here, these first four motions, this is what Julian was hoping that we would pass tonight. We would accept the revised eligibility study, authorize them to proceed. Now, we can do that and say with the addition of the Stoner property, if you want to include that in the motion. That won't be a problem. And then by authorizing them to proceed, what they'll do is, one of the next steps is we develop a redevelopment plan, okay? And part of that has already been drafted. They'll they'll have a meeting with you all and go over the redevelopment plan, the redevelopment budget as he talked about tonight. And then there'll be steps where we have public hearings, we give notice to people that own property in the district and people that own property within 750 feet of the district. If you recall, we give notice. We have a joint review board meeting that's made up of all the taxing bodies. We also give notice to all the taxing bodies. So we'll have a calendar for you in the near future of the sequence of which those things will take place. And then hopefully within we get through all those things, within about 3 months, we'll be in a position to adopt the ordinances that approve the TIFs in the business districts.
Now, he was talking about the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just for the TIF itself?
Yeah, it is, and it's, what you're budgeting is you're budgeting how much money you think will be spent out there, will be basically captured by the TIF and then turned around and spent in the TIF over the next 23 years, okay? So it's a real swag, okay? It really is. It's a a guessing game. What we sat down and did initially was we looked at, all right, for years we've heard somebody wants a shopping center out there, okay? Well, we know about what a shopping center would create square footage wise. We know about, we can come up with some values for assessed value on a shopping center and plug that in, and give us a ballpark, let's say, of what revenue that might generate, if that happened. We know what other, you might say, various sized businesses might generate in terms of tax revenue, if they were developed out there, whether it be a standalone restaurant or another hotel or something like that. And we kind of come up, that gives us a working figure as far as revenue goes, and then we break it out among the categories that you're allowed to expend TIF funds on. Everything from, as he said, property assembly costs, that's where you help a developer buy properties. Remodeling existing buildings, that's a potential TIF cost. In a business district, when you're talking about sales tax, you do the, you can do a whole lot of other things. You can even build buildings now in the business district. But in the TIF, you have about 8 or 9 categories of ways you can spend the money, and that's what you
Now, is that
allocate.
the same percentage that we're getting like from the hotel, or this area, will it be the same percentage?
No, you said that.
Well, now,
That's what I'm saying.
or what, okay, are we talking about
Yeah.
business district sales tax, or are we talking about TIF
Well, won't
district?
that be considered a business district too?
That will be a business district too out there, and you can set it in in 1/4% increments, okay? Both for, you can do a sales tax, you can do a service tax, and you can do a hotel motel tax, okay? All the way up to 1%. So you can start at a quarter, you can go quarter, half, 3/4, or 1%. For that tax.
But we have made some determining on hotel motel already.
And you said you weren't gonna do hotel motel. Now,
They're to be excused.
okay, and I mean, and that's what, if that's what you do, that's what you do. I mean, we did not in the budget, the preliminary numbers I know that Chad and I worked on, we didn't put anything in for hotel motel. We put in sales tax only, and we put in property taxes, okay? I mean, that's what we guessed at. And we just had to, and we got Gene, because of his expertise with shopping centers and retail, he can kind of give you an idea, he's kind of given us some ideas on what you anticipate per square foot of developed space in terms of sales tax return. So that's where we came up with that. Those were just rough numbers. You're not bound to those numbers, they're just, they're just numbers. It is a budget, but they're just numbers. Usually you try to err on the high side, because then, you know, if you actually needed to spend more and you hadn't budgeted, you might have an issue. But if you err on the high side, you,
They're gonna spend a ton of money.
yeah, yeah. That's what we did down on the riverfront.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept the revised Interstate North TIF eligible study, including the Stoner property?
Yes.
Sure.
I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
And we'll have Terry pencil that in on hers. That's a motion by Mr. Midnight,
Who's the addition of the
Stoner property.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mizell. Call a roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize EDR to proceed with completion of the Interstate North TIF redevelopment plan.
Second.
With the addition.
That's fine.
Yes.
Don't have to.
The second one.
You don't need to add that.
We don't need
I
that.
don't believe
Nah,
we
you
do.
won't have to. It'll be a
Just
part
make
of,
sure
it'll be
you
a
get
part
all
of the
the
district
first
at that point, yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure we got it on the first one. We do have a motion by Mr. Midnight, we do have a second by Mr. Mizell. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion
Next item.
Well, I'll make a motion to accept the revised Interstate North Business District eligibility study to include the Stoner property, place on file and make available for public inspection.
Second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Midnight, second by Mr. Corzine to include Stoner property.
Barfield,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Corzine,
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight,
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item, motion to authorize.
EDR to proceed with completion of Interstate North Business District plan.
Second that motion as well.
Motion made by Mr. Midnight, second by Mr. Corzine.
Barfield,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yeah.
Corzine,
Yes.
McManus. Midnight,
Yes.
Mizell. Motion carried.
Next item, motion to suspend rules and place an ordinance approving collective bargaining agreement with Operating Engineers Local 318 on its passage.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Carroll.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mizell.
Well, gentlemen, I'll make a motion, we table it. We just got it tonight, none of us has had a chance to read it, go over it, none of us has had the opportunity to talk to our legal counsel on it. I understand the union just got their copy of it this afternoon about 4 o'clock. Well, I'll make a motion, we table it.
We do have a motion to table. Yes,
Okay, so they have voted on it.
they have voted on it.
They won't go back to them for another vote.
Excuse me.
It will not go back to them for another vote. They have.
It is what it is.
I talked to Mr. Lindsay today, he was informing me that they'd have to go back for another vote.
That's not what he's told me. That's not what Keith has said.
I talked to him about 4:15 this afternoon, that's what he was telling me. He said he just got a copy of it, he didn't know what all had been changed and all, he had to go home tonight and go through it page by page to make sure.
Do you know of any changes since our last meeting and when we discussed this?
No, there's not many substantive changes. What happened is, they let them type it, okay, so they let their business rep type it, all right? He finally sent it to us on, Thursday or Friday, all right, in a form where we could use his copy. Now, there were about 2 paragraphs, or 2 of these sections that came out of the TA, which we had just written in shorthand, you know, it's just got notes, I don't mind explaining it to you, but it's just notes, my notes. He just typed in the notes, he didn't write it like it was sentences, okay? So, I in turn put those into sentences and sent them back to you, okay? I have no doubt he's gonna accept them, but because it was just the same thing as what my notes were, all right? I never envisioned another vote, he's never said anything about another vote, he assumes it's passed, he's told me it's passed.
That's what he told me.
Wilbur told me it passed. Now, granted, we just finished it finally today, I mean, we didn't get it till, we started on it Friday, and then we worked on it today to try to finalize. Everything you see in yellow in the thing is what he sent to me, and I sent it back to him, so like, everything you see in yellow is what he sent to me. What you see in red, is what we changed, but what you mostly see in red is just spacing changes, okay? My secretary's nut about formatting, and so, most of the places you just see this little thing, that looks like a little paragraph mark. What she did was she took the spacing out of it. He'd gone through when he retyped, he types like I do. He left spaces here and there and whatnot, she just typed it all up. What you see in yellow is everything that he changed, based on what we had approved. And, what you see, the 2 places I made changes, 18, 19, in terms of pages, and 20, 22-23. At the bottom of 22, top of 23. Those are the two I changed. Mr. Lindsay himself gave me all the wage schedules, and I verified those. He did all those himself, I didn't do those. I simply went through and checked the math, and he did them all right, except one place, and he actually shorted himself 6 cents an hour, so I gave him 6 cents an hour.
So if they voted on it,
It's voted on.
I mean, I can go call Keith if you want me to, he's the business agent. Everything else, this thing that says side letter of agreement back there in the back on page 44, they typed that, I didn't type that. We had to type it over, but I mean, that's theirs, cause we didn't have it on electronic format, they wrote that. Other than pages, like I said, 18, 19, and 22, 23,
And that's the subject matter.
that's the, 18, 19 is comp time, and 22, 23 is where they wanted to pay their premiums using sick leave. And Wilbur and I went over that today.
And that's what they voted on. I don't anticipate,
I don't anticipate them not passing it, even if they vote again.
I'm not sure they can legally vote again without going back to,
I just know, I spoke with him and Mr. Bolderis this afternoon, and they were telling me that Wilbur made the comment that they were gonna have to read it all and vote on it again, in case there was some different wording. I don't know, but I mean, if they haven't voted on it, then we gotta vote on it. After they're done, I would think.
I mean, from what the notes are, I don't see anything that's radically different than what your notes were. Okay, I did do that comparison.
Yeah, and like I say,
But I didn't read the whole thing, I'll be
Well,
honest with you.
to be frank, everything, he copied verbatim, everything that came out of my notes, with the exception of the two that were like shorthand, which was the comp time piece. I didn't have time to sit there and we were negotiating, we just wrote down the basic terms.
Right.
But we didn't have time to write it out longhand like a sentence or anything. I mean, I don't care. It will delay them getting their back pay another couple weeks, I guess, but that's all. I've never had the impression they were gonna vote again, though. I mean, I've talked to Keith, I talked to him today. He's leaving next week and gonna be gone for at least a week. He's having a grandchild next week, so,
I believe you'd have to go back. I mean, even if they was, it'd be the same difference.
if they voted on it.
They have voted
And it
on it.
passed.
And it passed.
You're gonna,
Oh.
in other words, you'd have to open the contract.
there is one thing I did change. I'll tell you what I changed. On the wages, it wasn't actually changed. They didn't put the concrete finisher in, so I put that in. And they didn't take the mechanic out. And I took that out and made it said, it's called vehicle maintenance technician or something like that, which is what they'd already agreed to. Those are the two things I did change on
But they
the
didn't
wage
vote on
piece.
that.
But they'd already voted on that too. I don't know.
But don't sound like me, the motion is gonna pass to table.
Well, I mean, we wanna make sure that you.
I just know a man told me, and that,
Satisfied.
you know, and I was really kinda hoping we would talk about this after, normally like we do after executive
He
session,
didn't
make
tell
sure.
me.
But
He didn't
if there's
tell
no
me
change,
that.
there's no
No,
changes.
He didn't tell you that, did he?
What's that?
Well,
No, he's never told me that they voted again. I didn't. Unless somebody got to him this afternoon and told him they wanted him to vote on again, and I don't.
I did not find that idea in it.
No,
No,
believe me,
absolutely not.
you wouldn't need to, he's
there's
got,
been plenty of water for
He is-
seeds to grow.
he has plenty of guys that can give him second guess him all the
It
time.
makes us no difference. I
don't
could
care.
care less. They're just
You
not
want
gonna
to.
get their money till they get a contract that's passed. And legally, I don't think they can go back without coming back to us to go over this again. And
Unless
vote
they
on
was, to go back again like that. If there's something they disagree with, they should have told you to begin with.
I mean, if
It was
Keith-
signed by the,
It's signed by the union,
right here,
yeah,
operating engineers.
yeah. They've signed off on it.
what's Oh, that's the side letter?
Yeah,
That goes on
that's
the
the
back.
side
That's on the
letter.
drug policy. That's just,
They only signed the drug
That's
policy.
good.
we don't re-sign it, then we just stick that in there each
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's something, that's been there.
Now, it's not been voted on, I mean, it's not been signed on the local yet, but
But it's my understanding that both sides have agreed to it as written. And there's a couple items in there I don't agree with, but if both sides have agreed to it, I don't see a problem with it.
there's a
I'll say
couple
vote
things
on it.
in there I didn't agree.
So if they hadn't decided, nobody knew if we voted on it.
I mean, we could talk on it in closed session, I just thought, because it mirrored the, I didn't know we need to, but if you want to, we could,
Are we having a closed session?
otherwise,
Well,
no,
we won't do it,
wasn't
yeah.
planning on
We
it,
can.
I didn't have any reason to.
I'll withdraw my motion to table.
And if we're sincere about it,
I mean,
it makes us no
No, it
difference.
isn't, really, we can wait, it's not that big an issue, we can wait 2 weeks.
But when they don't get their paycheck,
I don't wanna,
don't, I mean, I don't wanna beat us up over it, so.
Just don't kill Willard.
Hey, I all will.
why don't we do that?
Yeah.
We
Before
go
we
ahead.
get done, if you guys wanna withdraw it for now, withdraw all the motions for now.
You need a
Before we
motion
get-
to recess for 5 minutes?
Well,
10
you
minutes.
get a
Well,
hold-
why don't you just go ahead and do business and I'll do that? While-
Yeah, well,
If
well,
you withdraw your motions for now, everybody, and then.
Withdraw the table,
I've done half.
Yeah.
and we'll put a question mark on it, and we'll move on.
and I'll see if I can find
So we
something.
need to
Well, the next
withdraw
item.
Bill's motion too.
Yeah.
Now it's right.
Yeah.
That's what you wanna do.
We'll let you go back with it
And
again.
then you can.
I'll see if I can round up.
You can have your last second.
They do.
Yeah, somewhere in there I did.
Alright.
Let's get a clarification what they think they said.
Okay. We'll move on. We'll just move
Oh, I
on.
thought you said we'll move on, I thought, where's it going?
Oh my God, that's all we need is that?
It's packed up. Move on.
Okay.
Alright, we're going to bypass those two last motions for clarification. And we're moving on to the committee reports. Mr. Barfield, would you like to take the tourism?
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay.
The Thomas Area Tourism Commission met July 9th, and we have 2 items to bring before the council. I will make the motions on the following. First one, the motion to accept the request for number 1 installment from fiscal year 14 Metropolis Tourism Marketing Budget for an amount of $51,275. This is for 2 billboards, phones, advertisements, and magazine insertions, and whatever.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Barfield, seconded by Mr. Corzine. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes?
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
I will make a motion to accept the request for the first installment in the amount of $20,825 from Metropolis Tourism Director, administrative position. This is for 3 months' salary, rent, supplies, and insurance for special events.
Second that motion as well.
Motion made by Mr. Barfield, and seconded by Mr. Corzine.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Daniil and I had a discussion on where this should go. This next item, it actually is a finance expenditure, but it actually kind of comes out of the after-school program, so either one, Mr. Midnight, do you want to do this, or Mr. Barfield want to do it? Either one of them, it doesn't make any difference.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to accept funding for the 2013-2014 after-school program in the amount of $23,000.
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item, Water, Light, and Street Committee, Mr. Barfield.
Yes, Mayor, this is also from the July the 30th meeting. We have 5 items to bring before the council, and I will make the following motions. I will make a motion to accept the purchase of 4,000 gallons of sodium hypochlorite for the wastewater treatment plant Brent Tag for the estimated cost of $8,000.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Barfield, second by Mr. Mizell. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes?
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
You got that, Mac?
Motion
I'm gonna
carries.
say, you doing that, Doc? Just don't listen
Jen
to it.
does all
Just
that.
don't listen to it.
Everybody up there's got a Mac behind their name.
All right, Mayor, the next item, I will make a motion to accept the low quote from LV Supply on the purchase of insecticide for mosquitoes in the amount of $11,829.30.
Second.
How long a supply is that?
Year. Maybe over, sometimes a little over a year.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
To answer that a little bit more, it'll actually, in some years, it will actually last us about a year, one summer and maybe a month or so into the next summer. Now, we can't spray when it rains every day. Had we known what we know right now, I mean, we've missed a good 2 weeks of spraying for the last 2 weeks, because it's, I mean, you're just wasting it. So, that should be, plenty for all next year, and at the last of the year, we may have to order, but you can get it so much cheaper if you buy that much of it.
With it all
To
just
answer
like
your
we've got now, the Lord only knows.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
We don't know, do we?
Does that help answer your question, Mr. Corzine? Okay. Okay,
All right,
Mr.
Mayor.
Barfield.
I will make a motion to accept the purchase of salt from North American Salt Company, not to exceed $3,000.
And usually, we order anywhere from 150 ton of salt to 175 ton of salt. But this year, we're actually only going to order about 50 ton, because the winter, last winter was so mild, we didn't have to use up all our salt. But I was afraid not to order some, because if you don't get that order in, there's no salt available when you need it, so.
I know last year Hardin County had to buy some from us because they had an
Actually,
emergency.
yeah, and, you know, and I would certainly, I think they got 10 ton or something like that and paid us, for it, but certainly I'd want, but we're about the biggest right down in this area that actually carries a little bulk salt. I mean, like, Joppa's not gonna get any bulk salt, that Mouse anything, Brookport won't either, Rosaclare doesn't, so, you know, we do try to keep a little extra.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
We need to adopt a motion authorizing the commencement of legal action regarding the east-west street or right-of-way located north of and adjacent to the Super 8 motel.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mr. Barfield, second by Mr. Midnight. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes?
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
The last one, Mayor, is I will make a motion to accept the low quote for fuses for the new electrical switchboard at the water plant from State Electric Supply Company in the amount of $1,937.73.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barfield, second by Mr. Mizell. Call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Mayor, that completes our report.
Thank you, Mr. Barfield. Ordinance Committee, the chair of that is Mr. Daughtery. We have chairpersons, Mr. Barfield, Mr. McManus, Mr. Midnight. One of you gentlemen,
Go ahead,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Barfield, you're doing a wonderful job.
Glad to sound.
He's wore out over there.
call the roll.
Oh,
You're on a roll, man.
oh. All right. All right, I will, adopt an ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 35, Section 35.66, labor agreements required for certain construction projects of the Code of Metropolis.
Second that motion.
And that's from 50,000 to 150,000.
Yes.
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 That's not on there.
That was okay, that's what it was agreed upon.
Yes.
What is this, 2013?
Well, 2013's going to be the, collective bargaining, so this will be 14.
2014.
Okay. Didn't we do 13 as the ordinance
What is
for
13?
selling
Yeah, we
Butler
did
Street?
13 to selling the real estate,
Okay,
and 14 is gonna be the ordinance, collective bargaining, so we're up to 50.
15, okay, 15.
We'll give you time to change it here in a minute.
That's the other thing.
All right. We do have a motion, we do have a second. Call a roll, please.
Barfield,
Yes?
Brown,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Corzine,
Yes.
McManus. Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion.
Adopt an ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 35, Section 35.05, purchase orders and contracts, competitive bids of the Code of Metropolis.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barfield, second by Mr. Mizell. Call the roll, please.
Barfield,
Yes?
Brown,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Corzine,
No.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight,
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
You say that ordinance was 15 or 14?
That one's probably 60.
That one's
That was
16.
16.
Where would that be, 15 and 14?
What we're waiting on.
15 was the one right before it, and 14 is this one back here.
Okay.
Next, I adopt an ordinance amending Title, Chapter 90, Animals of the Code of Metropolis to add a Section 90.12 for prohibition of dogs and other animals upon or within playground areas and playing fields within city parks.
Was that a
Do
motion?
we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Midnight, second by Mr. Carroll. Call a roll, please.
Barfield,
No.
Brown,
No.
Carroll,
Yes.
Corzine,
No.
McManus,
Yes.
Midnight,
Yes.
Mizell.
No.
It's 4 noes,
And
3 yeas, and 1
Failed.
absent.
failed.
Motion failed.
All right, I believe that's all. There's nothing I missed here.
All right. We'll just continue on and, Rick will catch up when he gets back. Department heads. Chief Massey,
Nothing at this time.
Frank?
Nothing at this time.
Well, Mr. Joe's not a department head. If we have anything for the emergency service of the county.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Old business.
Mayor, I'd like to give Sergeant Chief Massey and his boys a attaboy. I noticed on the report we got that some curfew violations, the ordinance we passed is starting to work. And I appreciate you guys for working that ordinance, and maybe it'll make some difference in our parks.
Very good.
New business.
Mayor, since we have a few minutes, we had a meeting today with the murals committee. The murals, two of them are in bad need of repair. And we have another meeting scheduled for next Monday. So we will be notifying the council what is actually needed. We have a good committee. We have Chris McGinnis, we have Rena Miller, Tricia, Carrie Stapleton, and Chris Abel, and they've all had experience. One has a degree in art, but the two that we're looking at that needs most attention is the Veterans Mural and the one on the Happy Hearts building up there. If you want to go by and look at it, you'll see how it's cracked. And we're just looking to see what we can do, and we met with Lady Van Tiger today, and she gave us her recommendations of what we might do. So we will make a decision on that next Monday probably. Chris McGinnis is on that committee also, and then we'll be notifying the council what we might expect out of it.
Is there, can there be any grant money for that?
No, that will not be grant money. Hopefully it'll be tourism money. There's no grant money out of it. It was paid for with grant
I
money,
know,
but this is repair. And we knew when we did it that we may have to repair it, you know.
It's not, the way Mr. Carroll's committee is actually taking care of that is it's not going to be an extraordinary amount of money. They're going to do the two that is, you know, pretty bad, but it's, you know, it's not a tremendous amount of money. And then they're going to wait till next year for some repairs and things on the ones that's not, you know, it's in good shape, just to maintain them and stuff like that. But we're still talking about a very insignificant amount of money, you know.
Minimal amount.
So, and it will come out of tourism, and they already noted that, so.
Another thing I'd like to mention at this time is, it's not city related in a way, it is city related. That's the Hope Light project. The city has donated the ground, and the foundation has come up with the money to build the lighthouse down at Dorothy Miller Park. And the big thing is Lafarge has given the Hope Light 25 tons of cement. It goes to Cotter, and Cotter is going to furnish the cement for the foundation and the walkways. So the lighthouse itself should be started next week. Parker Construction has signed the contract, and we're waiting on Gerald Childers to sign the base contract and do the base. But we should have it all started within a week.
Under, anything else under new business?
Yes, sir, I do, sir. The Topper Sarah Tourism Commission will meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes.
Tourism committee upstairs here. Anything else?
I'd like to add one thing. We're speaking murals. My nephew, he visited town at Johnny Steele's parachute hung on the church. They still have a parachute there with a dummy in it, signifying what he did.
Really?
He is a hero.
Yeah.
Very good.
Maybe we could get one and put David.
Celebration each year, too.
Pardon?
Yeah, that's what he
Yes,
did.
yes, they do.
Celebration.
Yes, every year.
They
keep them to a park, Billy, they don't have
Very good, Bill.
Under miscellaneous reports, Chris McGinnis did tell me today that they're possibly later this week, if it had quit raining for at least one day, they will start on the disc golf at the Fort Massac State Park. Everything's in. We have all the material in now, all the piping, all the everything like that, and then we'll go from there. So,
And that will be explained tomorrow in the Park and Recreation meeting. Chris McGinnis will be here to explain what they're gonna do, how they're gonna do it, and when they're gonna do it. That's 18 holes.
financial report. Payment of salaries, payroll, and contract bills.
Second that, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. McManus, second by Mr. Corzine. Call roll.
Barfield,
Yes?
Brown,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Corzine,
Yes.
McManus, Midnight,
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Payment of miscellaneous bills.
I'll make that a motion there. That's awful weird.
Who seconded that, David?
You already presented.
No, it's just typical, it's funny. I'm not mad at all, actually, I just.
Who made the motion?
Mr. Corzine. And Mr. McManus, vice versa. That make a big night.
Barfield,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Corzine,
Yes.
McManus,
Yes.
Midnight,
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
All right, we're through. You got back just in time.
Cool.
We're gonna move back to you now.
Let's table it. Okay. Well, here's what happened. Our guys do have the impression that they were gonna read it and vote again. They said that's what Keith told them. Well, I talked to Keith too just now. Keith said, no, we don't vote on that again. We already voted. It's done deal. I just gotta approve the language. And, I said, okay. Well, then, I was calling both him and Wilbur, and he and Wilbur. And, Wilbur called, and he said, well, he's the one who told us we had to vote again. So I just said, tell you what, you guys do whatever makes you comfortable. We'll vote on the 26th. It's no big deal. And so that's why I was laughing. I mean,
That's what they told me this afternoon.
hey, he's got it out there. A bunch of them are reading it. Keith will read it again in the morning, he told me. He did commit that they would try to get it done this week. Their problem is their business rep is going,
He's leaving.
he's having a grandbaby next week down in South Carolina, so he's gonna be gone for a week or two. So I explained that we table it and we'll get it done whenever they get it done, I suppose. But it won't be before the 26th.
But I'm
You
not,
know.
I'm not gonna let him.
He said McManus wanted a special meeting to vote again.
Yeah.
You told him that was
The union have to pay for it. I'm for that if we get them to pay for it.
well, I offered that, but they didn't like that. So my advice would be make a motion to table it for now.
Go ahead.
I mean,
We do have make a motion to
make a
table.
motion, we table the, collective bargaining agreement until such time as the union gives us their approval.
But, when, okay, you second that, yeah. You know, this thing works both ways,
No.
because when they read it and approve it, then it's gonna have to go back to the, it could go back to the negotiate, we might wanna look at it again, make sure it's right, so this thing could draw out for about 3 months.
Well, that's why I said whenever they approve it, that way it's
And
back
that
in
is a
their
motion to
ballpark.
table.
I don't think we're waiting on them to approve it, I think we're waiting on them to vote on it, really.
We got a table, we got a vote.
Yes.
Okay, Barfield,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus, Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
No.
Motion
Yes.
carried.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn, we've got it all. By Mr. Corzine. And Mr. McManus. The only, before you do that, there is, I'm gonna try to get hold of Dave before I leave about that meeting where I can tell you.
If I can, if I be here for 30 minutes, will that consider,
We'll be done in 30 minutes with the industrial maybe.
I can't no more than 30 minutes.
I'll tell you one thing,
I'll
when
stop
you
by.
leave, we're done.
Yeah.
So it'll be 30 minutes,
Uh,
whether we're done or not.
The only thing I know of that has to be done, and that don't have to be done, is the smart bus people.
If they're here at 1 o'clock, we'll roll them out.
Well, they'll be here at 1 o'clock.
Okay, If you do that, Mr. Mizell, I sure appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll get that going. That's a project.
As is then, 1 o'clock.
All right, call the roll, please.
Barfield.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Corzine.
Yes.
McManus.
Yes.
Midnight.
Yes.
Mizell.
Yes.
Motion carried.